Okay, picture this scenario. And, it's one we've all seen a dozen
Oh,
times. You're in a boardroom, maybe the lights are dimmed, or you're just scrolling LinkedIn on your lunch break. And this video starts playing.
oh yeah.
And it is slick. I mean, we are talking cinema quality
You
stuff.
can almost hear the Hans Zimmer music swelling in the background, right?
Oh, absolutely. These dramatic orchestral swells, you get the sweeping drone shots flying over a massive construction site at golden hour,
Yep.
and then the close-ups of sparks flying from a welder's torch in slow motion. It looks gritty, it looks intense. To the average person, to me, frankly, it looks incredible.
It looks like a blockbuster movie trailer. And that's usually the intent. They want you to feel the scale of it.
Right. But here's the twist. Picture the person sitting next to you. Let's say it's a site superintendent or a structural engineer or maybe the safety director for that exact company. They are watching the same video, but they aren't smiling. They are not impressed.
They're wincing.
They are wincing. And that reaction, that specific disconnect between what looks cool and what is actually correct, that's what we are unpacking today.
It's a great topic.
We're diving deep into this fascinating piece from the Construction Channel called Why Technical Accuracy Matters in Construction Media.
And it's a heavy one because it really challenges the default setting of marketing. Usually the rule is, if it looks good, it is good.
If the editing is snappy, job done.
Exactly. But this source is arguing that in the heavy industrial and commercial construction world, pretty isn't enough. In fact, pretty can be a massive liability.
So the mission for this deep dive is to figure out why. We're going to peel back the layers of how these videos get made and why hiring a generic videographer.
Someone who does weddings or car commercials.
Right. Why that can actually backfire on a complex job site.
And we're not just talking about bad angles here. We're talking about how a lack of technical fluency can actually damage a firm's reputation with insurers, owners, and their own staff.
It's about the difference between just content creation and, I guess, technical documentation that happens to be engaging.
That's a great way to put it.
We're also going to look at the solution the article proposes, which involves something called BIM building information modeling. But let's start with that wince. The source calls this the pretty but wrong problem. What is actually happening in an engineer's brain when they see these videos?
It's a complete clash of priorities.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how a generic production team operates. Their hierarchy of needs is lighting, composition, motion, drama.
They want the shot to feel exciting.
Totally. So a camera operator sees a worker doing something visually interesting, maybe leaning over a ledge to guide a load, or operating a piece of heavy machinery with the door open, and they zoom right in.
They're chasing the aesthetic, the grit, the action.
Precisely. But because they don't understand the job site, they don't realize what they're actually capturing is a safety violation.
Oh, wow.
Maybe that worker is standing inside the swing radius of an excavator. Maybe they've taken off their safety glasses for just a second to wipe away sweat. Maybe they're walking through a controlled access zone.
To the camera guy, it's just a cool shot of a guy working.
But to a safety director, it's an OSHA violation, frozen in 4K resolution.
And this brings up a concept the article just hammers home, the endorsement effect. This really struck me.
This is critical.
The idea that you aren't just showing the work, you're validating the method.
Yes. You might think, oh, come on, it was just a 2-second clip in a 3-minute video, who cares? But when you edit that footage, you color grade it, you put your company logo over it, and you post it.
To your official channels.
You are effectively endorsing it. You're telling the world, this is how we work. This is our standard.
That is a terrifying thought for a risk manager.
It should be. If an owner or an insurance auditor sees that, they don't see a cool video. They see a lax safety culture. It signals you don't pay attention to the details.
And in construction, if you don't pay attention to safety details, why should they trust you with the structural detail?
Exactly. It cuts right to the core of competence. But it's not just safety, right? The source talks about technical distortion. This is the stuff that drives the project managers up the wall.
Okay, what do they mean by that?
Oh, this usually happens in the editing room. You have an editor who is, incredibly talented at pacing and rhythm, but they don't understand the build sequence, the logical, non-negotiable order a building goes up in.
So they create a timeline that's impossible.
Exactly. They might cut the footage in a way that's visually pleasing, matching colors or shapes, but narratively, it shows the roof going on before the steel is topped out.
Which would never happen.
Never. Or they show the interior fit-out happening before the building is even dried in.
Uh-huh.
To a layperson, it's just a montage. It looks like building stuff.
But to a builder, it looks like you don't know what you're
It's a
doing.
huge red flag. And the classic example the source give, and I've seen this happen, is the audio and video mismatch.
Mm.
You'll have a voiceover talking about a really specific, complex system, like, say, HVAC coordination and airflow management.
Okay, so we're talking ductwork, VAV boxes, complex mechanicals.
Right. But the B-roll playing over it is footage of a guy smoothing wet concrete.
What?
Why? Because the editor needed a shot, and the concrete shot looked busy and cinematic. So the audio is talking about air handling, and the video is showing cement trucks.
That's just jarring. It's like watching a cooking show where the chef is explaining a souffle, but the video is someone grilling a steak.
It betrays a fundamental lack of understanding. The source even mentions editors dropping in shots from completely different projects just to fill space.
You're kidding. So like a shot from a warehouse job in a hospital video.
Exactly, and that just feels like a betrayal to the project team. It erodes confidence and makes the firm look generic.
Right. And that brings us to these so what? I mean, a lot of marketing teams might say, well, the general public won't know the difference.
And that's probably true. Your mom isn't going to notice.
Right.
But your mom isn't signing the check for the next $100 million biocontainment facility.
Good point.
The people who are the owners, the developers, they often do know, or they hire consultants who know. And when they see sloppy media, they assume sloppy execution.
That's the external cost. But the article brings up a really poignant internal cost that I hadn't even considered: the people in the video, the field teams.
Yes, this is the human cost, and it's almost always overlooked. Construction is a hard job. The people doing it take immense pride in their craft. They know what right looks like because they live it every day.
So the source mentions how these crews react when they see their reality distorted.
It's demoralizing. Imagine you're a superintendent who has spent 6 months obsessing over safety protocols, and then the marketing team puts out a video showing a guy without a harness just because it looked cleaner.
It creates a huge disconnect.
Instantly, the source says enthusiasm just diminishes. When field teams see their work simplified, misrepresented, or made to look unsafe, they stop trusting the media team.
So the next time the camera crew shows up on site,
The workers turn away, they put their heads down. Leaders hesitate to do interviews because they're afraid of being edited out of context, and that's a tragedy.
because the most powerful voices are the people actually doing the work.
You lose their trust, you lose the authenticity. You can't just parachute in, shoot some B-roll, and leave. You have to be seen as a partner, not a tourist.
Okay, so we've established the problem. The Hollywood approach can hurt your brand and alienate your workforce. So what's the solution? The article pivots to talk about the BIM advantage.
Right.
We need to define this for listeners. BIM is building information modeling. But how does a 3D model help you make a better video?
Well, this is where the source, the construction channel, really differentiates itself. They explain they aren't just a creative shop. They have a sister company, Construction Channel Design. These guys spend their days inside the models, looking at shop drawings, dealing with VDC.
Okay, break that down. VDC. Virtual design and construction. That's basically building it digitally before you build it physically.
Exactly. Resolving conflicts in the computers so you don't have to use a jackhammer on site. Now, the standard video approach starts with a mood board. What's the vibe?
And the technical approach.
The technical approach starts with, what are the drawings telling us? They interview the PMs and superintendents before they even pick up a camera, and they actually look at the BIM model.
And I'm guessing they're looking for different things in that model.
Completely different things.
Yeah.
A generic videographer is looking for visual drama sunsets, sparks. A technical storyteller is looking for the coordination wins.
Give me an example of a coordination win. What does that even look like?
The source has a great one. It might not be a big drone shot. The real story might be how the MEP trades mechanical, electrical, plumbing coordinated above a patient corridor in a hospital.
Okay.
Maybe they had to fit 5 layers of critical systems into a 3-foot deep space without clashing to avoid future rework.
That sounds, I'll admit, a little dry on paper. Check out this ductwork spacing.
It sounds dry to us, maybe. But to the hospital administrator paying for that building, that's the heroic story. That's what saved them $1 million in 3 weeks of schedule.
I see. So the quote-unquote boring technical details are actually where the value lives.
That's where the ROI is. And if you understand the model, you can find that narrative. You know that specific pipe run was a nightmare, so when you film it, you treat it with respect. You frame it to show the complexity.
This technical background must also change how they physically behave on site,
It
right?
changes everything. This goes back to the tourist versus partner idea. If you understand construction, you behave like a trade partner. You attend the safety orientations because you actually understand the risks. You respect access limits.
And knowing when not to film seems huge.
It is. Imagine a critical lift crane hoisting a massive chiller to the roof. A generic crew sees that and thinks cinematic gold and tries to get right under the load for a dramatic angle.
Which is incredibly dangerous.
It's life-threatening. A technical crew knows this is a critical pick. We stay back, we use a long lens, and we do not interfere. They prioritize the work over the shot.
The source also talks about filtering shots in real time. That fascinated me. It's like quality control in the viewfinder.
Right. If a technical crew sees a shot that looks unsafe,
Yeah.
even if it just looks unsafe from a certain angle, they kill the shot immediately. They don't wait for post-production. They filter it on site.
And I imagine the interviews are drastically better, too.
Oh, worlds better. If you have technical fluency, you can ask, I noticed in the model that the overhead clearance in the lobby was tight. How did you manage the ductwork installation without clashing with the fire suppression?
Now the superintendent lights up.
They light up because you speak their language, they respect you, you get the real detailed answer, you get the war stories, the innovation. That's the content that engages other experts.
And that leads into post-production. The article talks about post-production rigor. It's not just about making it flow.
It's the difference between a music video and a documentary. They check that the overlays, the text on screen, are accurate. Are they calling it cement or concrete? There's a difference. If they mention a clash, was it actually a significant one?
Knowing the difference between a trivial issue and one that saved millions.
That nuance gives the story weight. And it all boils down to reputation. The article has a whole section on the reputation equation.
And it identifies where this matters most. High-stakes environments. Hospitals, research labs, data centers.
Because in those environments, precision is non-negotiable. If you're building a biocontainment lab, close enough is not good enough.
And if your marketing video looks sloppy, it suggests your construction might be sloppy too.
It's the how you do anything is how you do everything mentality. A story that glosses over difficulty or contains errors undercuts your perceived competence. But a video that leans into the complexity validates the owner's investment.
Right, because BIM and VDC are expensive. They're just a line item to most owners.
Exactly. And accurate media makes that invisible investment visible. You can show them, here is the clash we found in the model, and here's how it saved us from tearing out a ceiling. Suddenly, that line item makes perfect sense.
The source summarizes it nicely. It says you bring in experts when the project carries unusual complexity, risk, or visibility.
That's the threshold. If your reputation is on the line, where the engineering is the star of the show, you need a partner who understands the blueprints, not just their camera settings.
So let's bring this all together. What's the big takeaway here?
I think the synthesis is that technical truth and creative craft are not opposing forces. People think you have to choose. Either it's boring and accurate, or it's exciting and wrong.
Right.
But this source is arguing that the most exciting stories are the ones that are deeply technically true. You don't need to fake the drama. The drama is in the engineering.
I love that. The drama is in the engineering. It's in the problem solving.
But you have to understand the engineering to see the drama. You have to know where to look.
Yeah. Here's a thought to leave you with then. Next time you're watching one of these videos or commissioning one, if your company deals in millions of dollars of engineering precision where a millimeter matters, why would you let the video representing that work be imprecise?
It's a question of alignment. Your media should be as rigorous as your concrete pour.
Does your media partner understand your blueprints or just their ISO settings? I think that's the question you have to ask.
The only question that matters for these big jobs.
Thanks for diving in with us today. It's been a real eye-opener on what goes on behind the lens.
Always a pleasure to dig into the details.
Catch you on the next deep dive. Stay curious.